Now let's work on adding some detail to the exhaust panel at the rear of our car. Okay, so this is the panel that we're talking about here. And basically, if we go into our side view, we need to actually cut out these holes right here. And this is kind of an elongated hole that contains our two exhaust pipes on this side and on this side. So this is going to be symmetrical, so we can just work on this one side. But this basically needs to be kind of a half circle right here and a half circle here, and then kind of a longer piece right in the center. Okay, so the first thing we might want to do is go ahead and add some resolution in here. And so I'm just going to pull some, insert some edge loops right along here. And we can use that one over there. And then I'll just put one in right in the center and right in the center. And then we'll go in and kind of redraw those a little bit. We'll just go ahead and let's insert one right on the top and bottom here. There we go. And now I'm just going to grab my vertices here and translate those along normal. I'm going to create this kind of circular opening here. Just moving these around, and we're trying to kind of do the same thing we did with the B pillar there, the side piece that we had that we created that kind of circular shape on. This is going to be kind of the same type of thing. Only in this case, we're not creating one single circle, but this whole opening here. So I'm just grabbing these, pulling them. I want these bottom ones to be kind of straight across. Move those down a little bit. This guy can come in. And let's make these straight across as well. Right up there. Alright. I think that's probably going to work for us. Let's go into our perspective. And I'm just going to isolate this. Isolate select. And looks like we might do a little bit of tweaking there. So just tweak that till you get your, basically, you want this to be nice and even around here, and then you want these to be straight across, okay? And grab all these and maybe move them down a bit. Alright, so when you get this the way that you want it, you can go ahead and just grab these faces. And I'm just going to extrude those and scale them in. Okay, and I'm scaling them in a little bit more than I otherwise would, because we're going to actually extrude a little lip right out here. Okay, and now I'm just going to extrude that again, and this time I'm going to go straight back. Repeat that and go straight back again, and then let's delete those faces. Okay, and now we can just select these faces all along here, and I'm just going to extrude those out just to create a little bit of a lip right there. Okay, and I'm just going to do it real, I just want a real gentle sort of shape here. I don't want anything too sharp, so I'm just going to come straight out. And while we're here, I can go ahead and just delete this other half. Let's go ahead and subdue that and see how it's looking. Alright, that looks pretty much how I want. We'll be able to tweak this a little bit and have a better idea when we get our actual exhaust pipes in there. So let's go ahead and bring some exhaust pipes in. Turn that off. And I'm just going to bring in polygon primitive, and I just want to bring in something that's really close already to what we're going to create, and that's going to be just a pipe. So I'm going to just translate this over. There we go. And I'll just rotate that guy 90 degrees. And then we can change some of our settings here. So get him scaled down appropriately and scale him back in Y. Okay, and kind of move him into position here. There we go. So now we can go in here and you can actually change some of these settings. So I can change my radius and also the thickness. Okay, so we want something more like that, and then we can bump our radius down to match something like that, maybe a little bit smaller, maybe 0.75 would be good. And you can tell already that we're probably going to have to enlarge our opening there. Looks like we've got a little bit of extra room. Let's go ahead and take that radius down to 0.7. And take our thickness down to maybe 0.18 and 0.175 maybe. Just play with the settings till you get something that you like. Alright, and these are going to be flush. Let's actually also bump down our resolution. We're going to go ahead. You can either leave these as polygon or you can sub-D these. Let's go ahead and sub-D them. So I'm going to bump that resolution down to 8. And then push those back. And we basically want them to be flush, pretty much flush with this panel here that we've created. Okay. And when we go to smooth this, and just pull these points in a bit. When we go to smooth this, it's going to lose a little bit of volume and kind of smush out unless we add some resolution there. So I'm going to delete those faces and go in here and add some of our typical sub-D resolution right along the edges, inside, outside, and then right along the top there. And then let's go ahead and sub-D that and see how that looks. Okay. Show our sub-D. And at this point you can scale it up because you can see it's lost a little bit of volume. So now let's go in and I'm going to just grab those. You can actually grab the ones on the top if you want. And get back to our back view here. And move those up. Grab the bottom and move it down. Okay. Move these out. And just kind of match that up so that basically want it to fit tightly right around that guy. And you might have to move it back out just a little bit. And let's go ahead and duplicate this. Scoot it over. Right into position there. And then if we want to, we can go ahead and kind of match these up a little bit better. Get a few points that I don't really want to manipulate there. I'm going to grab these points right here. Just move them up a little bit. You could, if you wanted to, you could go in and actually create your pipes right off the bat. If you want to do that, and then maybe use those as a template, that would be another option you might have. Alright, so we've got our exhaust pipes added in there. So now, I think we want to go ahead and actually close this off. We had it kind of opened up there, but I think we want to actually close that off. Let's go ahead and isolate that, convert it to poly. We just want some kind of a closed off face back there, just to kind of avoid having to have light coming through there and so forth. So I'm going to just grab those edges and I'll just fill a hole with that. If you want to go ahead and redraw this, this is a good option. Instead of going back and sort of going back to your extrude and all that, you can just fill that right in real quickly. Okay. And at this point you could either extract that and have it as a separate piece if you wanted to texture it a little bit differently. I'm just going to add an edge right there and just leave it as is. And then I'm going to go ahead and just select this guy, delete the history, and let's mirror it over to the other side. I'm going to move these points down just so it's a little bit cleaner looking. Right down there. And then we'll sub-D that and see how it looks. Alright, so we've got our exhaust panel there. Now real quickly, let's go ahead and mirror these guys. Control G to duplicate, or to group, and then Control D to duplicate. Right over to the other side. And then we just need a license plate. And to do that, I'm just going to bring in a cube. Bring him over here. And all I want to do is add some sub-D-res and a little ridge around the side there. So I'll just rotate that up. Get him up a bit. And let's just first of all scale him into position there. Like so. Kind of hanging off there. And let's go ahead and just first create some geometry that we can use for our lip around the side. So I'm just going to extrude this face in. Like that. And then I'll grab all these faces. Extrude them out. Just straight out. Once and maybe one more time. And then in order to keep these corners, I'm going to have to add resolution right along these corners, like this. And one over here. And now if I go ahead and sub-D that, we get a nice license plate with a little frame there to go on our back end. Alright, so we've got some more detail filled in on the back side here. So in the next lesson, I think we'll go in and create this little bit of metal work detail that goes right here underneath these little fins in the back.